Thank you for purchasing your SmartCap. This video is designed to help you properly assemble and install your new SmartCap, ensuring a tight fit and the ultimate in performance. Please carefully follow these instructions to avoid damage to the cap or your truck. As you'll see, assembly is quite simple. All you need is a 10mm and a 13mm socket wrench, combination wrench, and torque wrench. Also, have a sharp box knife and some scissors on hand. Given the size and weight of the SmartCap panels, we recommend 2 people assemble the cap. You should have received 2 large boxes. Please open both boxes and inspect the panel's painted surfaces. Once complete, place the panels back in their box. If any manufacturing imperfections or shipping damage are found, stop the assembly process and contact us at support.na@smartcap.com. We'll get you taken care of. Open the fitment kit and scan the QR code with your mobile phone. The SmartCap Mobile Installation Guide gives you step-by-step video instructions that are also supported by illustrations. Take the thin roof panel box and place it on the floor with the SmartCap logo facing up. Take the top lid off and lay it upside down, directly beside the bottom of the box. It'll make for a great soft landing when setting panels down throughout the assembly process. Now, let's remove the plastic to reveal the roof panel. Go ahead and leave the roof panel in its box, as we will assemble the cap with the box beneath it. This will protect it from getting scratched during assembly. Remove the lock nuts and fender washers attached to the roof panel and set them aside. Now, remove the right-hand side panel from the main box. You will notice one end of the panel is slanted. Place that end towards the air vent on the roof panel. Insert the tabs on the top of the side panel into the slots on the roof panel. You may need to gently tap it into place, ensuring a minimal gap between the 2 panels. Once the side panel is correctly inserted, attach the fender washers and lock nuts and hand tighten to secure the panel in place. To avoid scratching the paint on the surface of the SmartCap, insert the fender washers with the smooth rounded side down. Once you have completed the right panel, follow the same procedure to attach the left side panel. Next, take the front flange out of its packaging. Line it up with the roof panel, ensuring they are flush with one another and taking care to not damage the gasket on the flange. Using this diagram and the fastener hardware in the fitment kit, follow the order of installation of the fasteners. Starting in the middle, insert the fasteners and hand tighten a fastener block and clamp, a load spreader plate, a lock washer, and an M6 bolt to each fastener. The bolt head should be oriented to the inside of the cap to allow clearance for your socket or box wrench. Please note, you may need to raise each of the side panels to help align the front flange and properly insert the fastening clips. Also, don't be surprised if the corner fasteners are a bit difficult to insert. Now, let's do the same thing with the rear flange. Remember to follow our suggested order in which you install the fasteners. Once both the front and rear flanges are securely in place, it's time to tighten everything up. Start with the front and rear flanges. Following the same order from the supplied diagram you used to install the fasteners, we recommend you torque each of the bolts to 5 Newton-meters or 3.7 foot-pounds. However, it is very important that you do not over-tighten these bolts. If the load spreader plate is beginning to bow, stop tightening and back off the bolt slightly. For the side panels, also torque each of the M6 nylock nuts to 5 Newton-meters or 3.7 foot-pounds, making sure you do not over-tighten them. Now, with the cap sides and flanges attached to the roof, it's time to install the D-rubber gasket. First, let's clean the top of the surface with alcohol. Next, make sure the end of the D-rubber gasket has a clean cut on it. If it doesn't, take scissors and cut the end squarely. Start on the right-hand side of the rear flange. Located next to the rear door gasket, you will find a retention tab. Go ahead and bend it up. Now, peel off 6 to 12 inches of the adhesive backing and insert the D-rubber into the tab. You want the D-rubber to lightly rub up against the rear door gasket. Now, following the curve of the cap, apply a 3-inch bead of superglue where the D-rubber will be installed. You will want to line up the D-rubber about 1/8 of an inch from the outer edge and avoid kinking the gasket around the corners. Firmly bend the tab down and begin to install the D-rubber. When you get to the other end, there will be extra D-rubber. Line it up so that it will fit over the left side tab. Using your scissors, squarely trim the end off. Bend the tab up, apply another 3-inch bead of super glue, and complete the D-rubber installation. Once you insert the D-rubber, remember to firmly bend the tab back down. That concludes the assembly process for the SmartCap. Now it's time to install it on your vehicle. You will need to have a 13mm socket wrench, combination wrench, and torque wrench to install the cap. First, take the thick rubber pads out of the fitment kit. Remove the adhesive backing and place the pads on the inside of the D-rubber at the indicated locations. Disconnect the extension harness from the SmartCap and set it aside. Next, let's remove the 3 bolts from the driver's side taillight assembly. Place the taillight assembly on the tailgate. Do not disconnect any connectors. Carefully pull up the top edge of the bed cap and locate the hole in the sheet metal. Feed the thick end of the extension harness through the hole towards the taillight assembly and fish it out on the other end. Taking the T-harness out of the fitment kit, disconnect the middle brake light plug on the back of the taillight assembly and connect it to the female plug on the T-harness. Connect the male end of the T-harness into the taillight assembly. Finally, connect the T-harness to the extension harness. Bundle the extra T-harness length and zip tie it up and place it in the taillight cavity. Then you can reinstall the taillight assembly. Next, it's time to put the fully assembled SmartCap on your truck. Given its size and weight, we recommend a minimum of 4 people help you pick it up and place it on your truck. Walk the cap into position and then set it down. To ensure you don't dislodge your D-rubber, avoid sliding the cap across the truck's bed rails. Once the cap is correctly in place and centered on the truck bed rails, it's time to install the C-clamps. First, to protect the top surface of the SmartCap, we will place thin rubber pads that you can clamp to. Place the thin pads next to the gussets on both sides of the cap. Once the pads are inserted, install the C-clamp and hand tighten. Once all have been installed, you can torque each of the bolts to 6 Newton-meters, or 4.4 foot-pounds. Finally, connect the extension harness up to the SmartCap third brake light harness. There you have it. Your SmartCap is now fully installed and ready for action. Should you have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to contact us at support.na@smartcap.com or call us at 844-624-SMART.